We're going on a 3-part adventure today. New stencils, new technique, and a new, really fun look. Well, maybe it's 4 parts actually, because there's a bonus card that came out of nowhere. Today I'm using these 2 stencils with a brand new to me technique and my gel plate. Before we dive in, I know not all of you have or use a gel plate. If it's something you've been thinking about trying, I've got a free printable guide tackling gel plate basics. I'll put a link in the description below so you can grab that and see how easy it can be. The first step in this technique is to make our own tool. I know, right? I told you it's going to be an adventure. I've got some golden molding paste. This is brand new to me and extremely well sealed. I bought it after watching Elizabeth St. Hilaire use it to do this technique. And the second I hit submit order, it occurred to me I had some hero paste already. So I'm going to use both to see if there's a difference at all. So then if you want to try this, you'll know which paste works better. And here's the tribal wallpaper stencil. I've got a piece of black cardstock on my Sizzix stencil and stamp tool, just to hold it in place while I'm spreading the paste. You could tape your cardstock to the work surface, so it's totally optional. Next, I'm just going to be putting the molding paste through it with a spatula. The stencils I'm using today are from a small company called PM Artist Studio. They're slightly different from all my other stencils in that instead of plastic stencil material, they're made of 74-pound Yupo synthetic sheets, which resist buckling with wet media and can be wiped clean. This is a whole new game for me, but they have tons of unique patterns available, and there were a few I just couldn't resist. Any stencil you already have will work with this technique. I'm using black cardstock like Elizabeth did, because then it's really easy to tell if there's any spots that still need paste added on top. I tried to get the paste even on this, and I'm not sure why I didn't pull out that stencil tool, but I didn't. And when I had the whole panel covered, I ran down to the kitchen to clean off the stencil properly before the paste had dried. Now you could definitely use this as a panel or I guess 4 panels for your cards, but remember, we're building a tool right now. It's a texture tool that I'm going to use to pull some paint off the gel plate, a little like I've done before with bubble wrap. And just quickly, there's the other stencil called Marble Run Style 2 with the Hero Arts paste. So same process, although this time I did get my stencil scraper tool out to try and get that paste smoothed out a bit more evenly. I set these panels aside to dry, and one big difference became apparent right away. The hero paste warped the paper, and I could not get that sucker to flatten either. There is bigger areas of paste on this pattern, so I guess it's not 100% true comparison. But the other thing I noticed was the pliability of the cardstock. The molding paste paper bends smoothly in every direction, and the hero paste does not want to bend against that warp, and it feels just a little more, crisp or something. Let's see if it makes a difference as we go on. I've got my big gel plate out along with some paints in my Brayers, as well as some cardstock for a roll-off sheet. I just chose a primary of cyan, magenta, and yellow, and I'm running out of my cyan. All I'm doing here is putting down a layer of paint to create a sheet with solid color all over it. No tools yet. These paints have some shimmer in them, which I love, and I chose these 3 colors because I know I'll get some pretty mixes and blends. As usual, I've got way too much paint on here, and that meant I was rolling it off on page after page of paper. I'll show you what they look like later on, because some of them are actually really pretty. I put down a full piece of index cardstock and I rubbed over the whole thing with my BAREN. I use index cardstock because it's thinner than regular cardstock, but it's thicker than printer paper, and I find that to be a really good layering weight, which is what I use most of my prints for. Elizabeth prefers a thinner rice paper because she uses her prints for collages. And the BAREN is a great tool for adding pressure all over the plate, even out over the corners. Here's the print. I love that. The paint was still a little thick, and you can see that by some of the texture marks on it, but there's some really pretty blends. Next, I did another one, but this time just with pink. You'll see why in a moment, but basically I want to show you the difference between using the stencil on its own versus using the texture tool I made with the stencil. This print has picked up some of the leftover paint from the previous pull, but it's still pretty solid. Once these 2 were dry, it was time to try the technique. Actually, first, let me show you what it'll look like with just the stencil. I'm using this navy blue shimmer paint to cover the whole gel plate, and I'm trying to do it with less paint now that I'm getting back into the swing of using these paints. I put the stencil down over top and then my solid pink print on top of that. I used my hands and my BAREN to try and squish down into the plate a bit to pick up that dark blue paint that's exposed through the stencil. Here it is. It's pretty. It's very crisp and very distinct. And of course, when I lift the stencil, there's still blue paint there that can be picked up. I left that to dry completely, and then I forgot to turn my camera back on when I put pink and yellow paint right on top of the blue paint on the plate. Then I let all that dry and I peeled this back. This is a ghost print. That gives you a more grungy kind of look, but it's still got a ton of interest. So now let's get to using the texture tool I made. At least I thought that's where I was going, and I put down a solid layer of the dark blue paint on the gel print, but it was beating up like crazy. This can happen when your plate is new, before it gets kind of conditioned by all the layers of paint. So I figured I would just pull the blue paint and make a solid piece of navy that I could use for sentiments or accents later on. I didn't want that beading and bubbling impacting the look of the panel that I was planning to make with the tool. Well, that one is really bubbly, so I just did it one more time and I got a much more solid piece. And now finally, no more teasing, here we go with the tool. I put down a coat of the navy paint and then I pressed that texture tool into it with the paste side down. I used my BAREN to press it into the plate and get really good contact. And then when I pulled it up, first you can see on the tool itself that I picked up a lot of the paint. And on the gel plate, you can see the pattern of the stencil. Now you may think this looks just like the plate did before I pulled the ghost print earlier, so let's compare. They're actually negatives of each other. The first time after I pulled the paint through the stencil onto the pink panel, what was left on the paint was the paint between the holes. Now I've actually got the pattern of the stencil. I think you can see what I mean. So now while that was wet, I put down my colorful panel and I pressed it with the BAREN and let it dry before pulling it off the plate. So now instead of those crisp, distinct lines I got on the pink panel, this one is softer and a little more blended into the background. They're both great looks, but they're very different. So now let's move on to the hero paste. I'm not going to do all the variations again this time because you've seen how it looks crisper through the stencil. I did make another blended panel with the 3 colors of ink, although there's not really much blue left anymore. Then I put the layer of navy down and I went right to the texture tool with the marble run stencil. This is that warped panel, so it really was a two-handed job to get it pressed into the paint. Again, the tool itself is now coated in that paint, including the paste, which is a neat look, and the plate has the pattern of the stencil left on it. While it was still wet, I pulled it with my colorful print, and see how that looks? Oh, I could have tried it with white paint maybe for a different look. I'll try that next time. Here's a look at the 2 panels I made with the technique. They have a soft, distressed look that will make some backgrounds that are subtle but still interesting. And of course, I had so much more, including the 2 tools and all of my roll-off sheets. Let's just take a quick look at my cards. This one uses that tribal wallpaper panel with the technique. I left it pretty clean to show off those brighter and darker areas, and I just added a die-cut hello from Paper Rose Studio. That little frame of dots was made with an old Ellen Hudson die, and the gold dots are ones I made with Gina K's Lots of Dots dies and some Inca Gold cardstock. Next, I did a 2-for-1 with the Printmaking Hearts die from Simon Says Stamp, cut from the technique panel from the Marble Run stencil. I finished it with a label sentiment stamp from Inkblot Shop. And then of course I had the hearts, so I put a bouncy row of them onto a white panel I had cut with the Pegboard cover plate from Altenew, and some little gold dots I cut with the Bubbly Dots cover plate from Memory Bots. This card uses pieces from both of the technique panels. Of course, because the colors are the same and the patterns are pretty subtle, they work perfectly together. This is an old retired favorite thank you die cut from Waffle Flower. This one also uses both panels, although because my sentiment strip is so narrow, it's really hard to tell that the patterns are different at all. I have a double dots die from MFT Stamps, and I cut one from the panel, and then I offset it with another one cut from white to get this kind of scalloped look for my Inkblot Shop Happy Birthday. And I guess these last 2 cards are kind of bonus cards. This one uses some of the more solid scraps I had left over. I love how the shimmer becomes so apparent when you emboss one of these panels. That's the Altenew Angled Mosaic 3D embossing folder, and I always get questions about that circle die cut. It's from a set called Spotlight on Nature from Stampin' Up, and it fits perfectly around my favorite Happy Birthday sentiment. And then finally, I ended up making a card from that Hero Paste tool. It's really too warped and difficult to work with again, but check it out. Doesn't that look like denim? That's just the dark blue paint it picked up from the gel plate, and I love how it looks. I turned it into a simple, masculine thinking of you card with a Concord and 9th die cut. And I'll keep that other black panel with my stencil so I can use it as a tool again in the future. That was a super fun session with some surprises and unexpected results, which actually is pretty standard for working with a gel plate. I want to say a big thank you to Elizabeth St. Hilaire for the inspiration. This is definitely not something I would have thought of myself. Now, how about you? Are you ready to give gel printing a try? Don't forget to download my gel printing basics guide using the link below. And if you need even more encouragement, right here is the video where I finally got over my fear of using acrylic paints on my gel plate. That seems so long ago now. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.